Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. It is now the early morning hours of April 2nd, 2025. In looking at the docket, and more specifically the case summary page, which is maintained by the clerk of court in Ada County in Idaho versus Kohberger, documenting all of the filings in the case as of April 1st, 2025, there's one item that remains glaringly absent from the docket, and that is either the declaration or affidavit of Cy Ray in support of the defense's opposing of the state's in limine motion to either throw out Mr. Kohberger's alibi defense or require that Mr. Kohberger himself get up on the stand and account for where he was between 4 o'clock and 4:25 a.m. That is the timeline of the crimes that happened at 1122 King Road back on November 13th, 2022. And under the statute, that is the only timeline that matters. Where were you when the state of Idaho says that you were at the crime scene between 4 and 4:25 a.m.? By way of background, the state of Idaho served a request for discovery, which also included a demand for alibi information, meaning that Mr. Kohberger is in no way, shape, or form required to give any defense, much less an alibi defense. The law in Idaho and in many states across the country is that a defendant may raise, he's entitled to raise an alibi defense to show I could not have been the perpetrator of these crimes because I was elsewhere. But in order to do so, can't just have defense counsel make that argument. There needs to be two things produced within 10 days of the service of that demand by the state of Idaho back on May 23rd, 2023, nearly 2 years ago. They are, number one, with specificity, state where you were between the hours of 4 a.m. and 4:25, and two, the names and addresses of witnesses who can vouch for you. Witnesses who could say that they saw you, they know for a fact that you were elsewhere, based on actual knowledge. What the defense has been doing is, as of the summer of 2023, when they responded to this alibi demand, in part, they alleged that Mr. Ray is an expert witness through technology, would effectively be able to give his opinion. He's not going to be in any way, shape, or form producing facts. He's going to give his opinion based on technology, where Mr. Kohberger was and that he was elsewhere. Well, when the state filed their in limine motion regarding the alibi defense, the defense came back and opposed it and asked that Mr. Ray be given the opportunity to come into the courtroom and provide live testimony. Judge Hippler denied that request. The order denying Mr. Ray's ability to come into the courtroom and provide live testimony is on the docket. It's been on the docket for 2 weeks, since March 18th, 2025. Judge said if Mr. Ray would like to give testimony, he can do it in the declaration. And if the court felt it was necessary to question him further, the court would reserve the opportunity to do that over the Zoom platform or whatever platform the state of Idaho, Ada County courts utilize. Well, it's been 2 weeks since that time. It's 7 days into the hearing, and that declaration remains outstanding, which I'm going to give my First Amendment thoughts on this matter. If they weren't going to follow through on this alibi defense, why did they raise it at all? It's the question that I continue to ask with respect to the same. This will now conclude this episode of the Indie Zone. Thank you very much for joining us here today.